Hello and good morning, fellow classmates. Welcome to our WebQuest. At the top of the page, you'll see that Spirit of Maine Academy and Team Chickadee is proudly displayed. Now this is our welcome page, and to get to the introduction page, you can easily just click up here with a navigation bar, or you can click this handy dandy button right here. So for our introduction, we're just letting our students know that PBS has approached our 8th grade class to make a documentary about them turning a desolate piece of land into an awesome, thriving community garden. So throughout the entire process of creating the garden, we're going to be documenting it. And when the documentary is all done, we'll submit it to PBS and hopefully they'll pick us. Now that's good at the local level. So for the global level, we're going to also submit our documentary to Greenpeace, which is a global environmental organization. So here's our grasp page, and it really emphasizes everything we talked about on the introduction page. But it also talks about this product and performance throughout making the documentary and creating the garden. The students are also going to have this reflection journal. Now, each week they might have a couple questions or to respond to, or they're asked to reflect on something, and it might on some weeks be more content driven or just generalized. For the performance task overview, it's really going into detail about what they're doing and why they're going to be doing this. So, for instance, our community is not really known for being green, and we want to change that. So it's going to be our 8th grade showing the community that, hey, this small group of people, yeah, we can make a big change. And we're also going to educate and be an example for other small communities, locally and globally. In the production process, this is what we have. And for the pre-production, each student has 3 things that they have to do. The first one is each student has to create a script that the documentary will follow. Then the whole class will come together and finalize the script that will actually be used. And each student will pick the top 3 roles that they want, and it's going to have to be first come, first serve, and everyone's going to create a sketch of the garden. Now during the production, this section is really segregated into the different roles and goes into specifically what a camera person should be doing, what an editor should be doing, or the narrators and how they need to be the Neil deGrasse Tyson of the Spirit of Academy, have that beautiful voice. And the interviewers as well. And then for the gardeners and interviewees, this will probably make up the majority of the class. Now in the post-production, all the students will work with iMovie to edit. Now for the distribution, first you just have to upload it to YouTube, and then you can submit it to both Greenpeace and PBS through YouTube. For students, we have 3 different resources they can use during the process. This first one is a WikiHow on how to create a good documentary film. It has some nice samples and outlines on the step-by-step process, while also having big sections in excruciating detail on how to go about making a documentary. The second is a video tutorial on how to make a documentary in the interview style, which is the one our students will be using for their documentary. Lastly, this is a video on how to edit movies using iMovie. For our evaluation, we actually have 2 rubrics. So our first one is for the service learning project, and it's for participation, documentary, self-assessment, reflection, and the overall video quality. Now the students can either be a green thumb, eco-friendly, environmentalist, or an ally of the planet. Our second rubric is for the different content areas, so for math, science, English, and social studies. And the students can either be a green thumb, an environmentalist, or an activist. And down at the bottom, you can download our rubrics if you so desire. And our conclusion now just wraps up everything and lets our students know that, hey, congratulations, PBS is going to broadcast our documentary, and Greenpeace also thinks our documentary is front page material. So, now your ideas and actions will be shared with the world in a powerful way. Okay, now is the moment you've all been waiting for. Our example. Oh boy.
Welcome to our desolate piece of land that we've been given to by the city to create a community garden. Okay, so before we start our beautiful greenhouse for the community, we're going to start picking up the trash so we can have a nice fresh start.
So before we take this plot of land and turn it into something that's actually gardenable, we have to first get some topsoil, we have to till it, make sure that it's actually going to be able to help us cultivate some plants, and then we're going to be able to start building our garden. So pretty excited about it.
The goal of this project is to take this land, which is not being used for anything, and to create this really great community garden that's going to benefit the local community. We're going to take all the food here that's grown and donate it to the local food banks so they can eat healthy, and yeah.
Alright, so because it's still springtime and it's early and it's too cold, we are starting our seeds inside. Right here I have some basil, parsley, and some sage. Egg cartons make great seed starters. And we're just using a typical seed starting soil that we got from our local homegrown connection here in Farmington.
So this is the greenhouse that we built after lots of hard work. The frame is built out of saplings, or baby trees for those of you who don't know what a sapling is. The rest of the frame is built by repurposed wood, and the plastic is actual local greenhouse plastic.
It's out of the greenhouse. If you want to just follow me, we'll take a look inside. This is what the result of tilling and a little landscaping has done. We fertilized it with some eggshells, as you can see, some compost.
One way that you can tell that your ground is fertile is if you have lots of worms. And just by making a small hole into the ground, I found 2 worms, which you can kind of see. Sort of. There's a little guy.
So some of the things that we're growing in this garden include chives, carrots, beets, and garlic, and these will, when they're all grown, these will all be donated to the local food.
So we've got some kale growing here, and we're able to grow this even though it's still springtime and it's pretty chilly out, but over here we've got a thermometer that says that it's a solid 80 degrees in here, which it is not outside. But yeah, so we've got some kale growing here, and as you can see, this is real kale, very edible, very tasty. Job well done.
So this is our compost, and it's actually a great fertilizer for our community garden. And we've been using the leftover food from our school cafeteria to create our compost.
Alright, so here we have growing carrots, and if you look really close, you can start to see the leaves that are at the top.
So one of the things we use for fertilizer is leaves because they break down really easy and they're full of nutrients for our plants. We also use seaweed, and it kind of does 2 awesome things for us. It's a great fertilizer, plus it keeps the leaves down so they don't blow away, because this is a very windy place. I really liked how this project connected to the book that Miss Simmons had us read. I really liked learning how fertilizer works and also playing with worms.
I really liked how we got to learn about the history of the land that we were building the garden on.
I really liked how we got to learn about like the perimeter and area of the garden and budgeting to make all this kind of stuff happen.
I really liked working with the local food bank. Also, I'd really like to thank the community that donated this plot of land that we let us build the garden on. Thank you!
That doesn't work. We're not going to.
Wait, can I just look at you? Or is that is that
You can
weird?
look at it.
We're growing some kale, which
Oh, I don't know this
No.
You're like, okay. So, James. Sorry. Cut!